All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 12th Metropolitan School District of North Posey regular board meeting, and we will open the meeting by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is the patron's concern, and we have the sheet in front of us, and we'll mark that as nobody signed up for that accordingly. Second item on the agenda is the minutes, claim docket, and consent items that were previously sent out to you. We'll entertain a motion for those as approved. We do have a two insertions to that.
No, just one
Just
there
one.
on that one, and that is the addition of Mrs. Haley Elpers for the North Elementary special education teaching position.
All right, so we'll entertain a motion with the inclusion of Mrs. Elpers as the special ed teacher at North Elementary.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes, consent items.
Second?
I'll second
We have a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Colley. Anybody have any comments or questions?
A couple questions. The librarian contract, the 90-day contract.
Let's get ready to talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are required by state law to have a district librarian, and as you know, Sue Hinsey retired this year. This is a position that the library has really changed a lot the past few years, and the demand that our students have on that library hasn't really been equal to what it was probably when we were growing up. So what we did to try to get some cost savings with that and to at the same time meet the state obligation is Heather Moreland and I have talked about the possibility of her coming on. And really, quite honestly, I'm very excited about this because it's going to bring together the Poseyville library position as well as our library position and really open up a lot of opportunities for our kids to have access to other circulations that we maybe would not have. This is going to be a 90-day contract. And what we're mainly going to do is Heather is mainly just going to keep a timesheet of the days that she comes in and works. So like, for example, it would be beginning of the year to get our library straightened out. She may spend 2 or 3 full weeks in our libraries, kind of getting, inventorying all the books, and then also making sure that, we're purchasing the books and those kinds of things as well. She would just mainly use 90 days throughout the school year. This is going to kind of be a situation that we'll reassess at the end of the year to say, is this working? Is this not working? We're going to put an assistant or a paraprofessional in the library out there, but that person is going to kind of do double duty. They'll be kind of also monitoring study halls as well as helping any students that would come in. And then the 2 elementaries currently use volunteers to kind of run their libraries and oversee them. Everything else will be prorated as well with that 90-day contract. So her leaves, if she chooses insurance, I'm looking at Amy, is that it? I think so. So everything else would be prorated based upon those 90 days, and her salary will be prorated as well. Does that answer?
Heather's awesome, and this sounds great.
Thank you.
I think that's a great option to working together and trying to find a solution. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, just kind of introduce some other people this evening. We have Shevin May with us. She's going to be being recommended as the new North Elementary Innovate teacher. Also, we have Brittany Buttram. I had to find down there. Elementary vocal music teacher. They'll be going back and forth between South Terrace and North Elementary. So we're excited to have Brittany with us. And we have Haley with us this evening, Elpers.
Yep.
And like you said, we just brought on today. And of course, she's expecting a new little boy here soon. So we're excited about that.
3 weeks or less.
Yeah.
Public day. No one's got it.
And of course, we want to recognize this evening Katrina Newman as she has put in 18 and a half years as a school bus driver, and so she is retiring, and we want to wish her the best as she retires, and as well, wish her the best of luck. So, but thank her for her years of service.
And I will mention that Nathan Stone called me right before we came in for executive session. They were confused that the board meeting started at 5:30 and actually starts at 6:30, but they have football practice going on. So he was here for the executive session, which he couldn't come in for, but he had to go back out for football practice. So he was out in the parking lot.
Oh.
So anyway.
Also, just want to call your attention down there as well, the TAG, the Teacher Appreciation Grant, we are required annually to review that, and we have to submit that in September to the Department of Education. So I just wanted to make you aware that that was there in that packet. So.
All right. Any other comments or questions?
One other question on the claims docket is what made me think of it. The accelerated reader program, I know that was previously used as a grade in high school. Got away from that. I know we're still getting it. Is that something that is used in all the schools still? And that doesn't.
I think it's just mainly elementary is the
Okay.
only place that's being used. It's a very costly program. So one of the things that we'll be assessing and that Michelle and I will be working on is to make sure that we're getting the most bang out of our buck with that. So that is actually something that mainly what it does to kind of explain to everybody is the accelerated reader program. Kids read books and then they go take a test over that book. And it mainly tests, story elements about it. It may also test some additional kind of higher level thinking skills too. So
That's been a little problematic in high school.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone.
welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies.
You're more than welcome to stay and watch our exciting meeting, or you're more than welcome to leave at your leisure. So,
Your husband's in the car, so. I came straight from dinner, so. Thank you, guys.
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. See y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.
Next up this evening, Mr. President, is you have there for first reading this evening the policy for electronic participation by school board members in school board meetings. No action is required this evening, but we are just bringing that forward. And you had in your docket what the Indiana School Board Association sent to us, and then I tried to make some decisions on different things and stuff like that and write what you have up there. So
Are we required to have a policy on this then?
I think you are.
So we have to have something in place.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the way I approach this is, and this is my opinion, is your public has entrusted you to attend these meetings and represent your constituents that you represent. So, we tried to put in there that, you need to notify the board president, myself, that we not overuse this situation, that it's more or less an emergency kind of thing. So.
And so I guess it just seems like we're trying to fix a problem we really don't have here.
Correct. Yeah.
I'd say COVID brought this on.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I would like to see this be as minimal as possible. I think we all attend regularly and this isn't really an issue.
Mhm.
Okay. So if there's any corrections to that, let us know before the second reading next month, and we'll also be voting on it. Next up this evening, you have a 3-year contract there. We have worked with Youth First for several years, I believe. Mainly they oversee our social worker program. These services are paid through grants. The Indiana Criminal Justice Grant we use to pay for part of it. And then also we are using ESSER funds this year to get an additional social worker. So we'll pretty well mainly have about 3 full-time social workers this year. Each of the elementaries will have one, and the junior high and high school will have one as well. So you can kind of see there the terms of the contract. And so we're bringing this forward for your approval this evening.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 3-year contract with Youth First as presented by Mr. Galvin.
Second.
I'll second it.
So first by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve the 3-year contract with Youth First for the hiring of the 3 social workers. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Are they hired by Youth First, or do we hire them and they just?
They're
they-
hired
they
by
actually
Youth First.
hire.
Yeah. So also I wanted to clarify this because I am very frugal. And so when I looked at this cost, I was a little bit taken aback because I thought, and Mr. Thompson and I both talked about very and said, could we get by cheaper by just hiring it outright ourselves? The issue is that you have to have someone who oversees them, who's a licensed social worker. So that's the kicker, and that's the reason why Youth First provides these services to us, is that they provide that licensed individual to oversee, provide professional development and ongoing support of those individuals.
So we're paying for the management of it as
Correct.
well.
Yeah, they manage it.
I think it's important to point out, just historical. When this program started, it was created by the Wellborn Foundation and paid for through Youth First. That's how we got that foundation grant went away. Youth First approached us and Mount Vernon to pony up and continue paying for it out of the general fund. Mount Vernon chose not to do that. We fought them very hard about maintaining what we were paying. I think it was a matching type of a deal at that time. And we had several conversations about that regarding fundraising in Posey County and Vanderbilt County and that sort of thing. There's no question that the need is here. We've had several discussions about that. I mean, we probably need double this, unfortunately. It's great that we have the opportunity to have one in each elementary school. But we have to be cognizant, if this grant goes away, we have to have conversations with Youth First at that level of compensation. We can't continue to pay $100,000 and some odd thousand out of our general fund for social workers, without grant support.
Are the social workers in the schools, are they licensed in social worker?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do have, from what I understand, we have the ability, if there's 5, to pick the 3 that we want out of the 5. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, you're getting this person whether you like them or not.
There's kids in the schools that have really contacted these, or I can't think of the term, but they've actually melded with these social workers where they actually provide huge benefits for them.
But, that's the biggest thing, is that so Youth First knows, hey, if there happens something with this grant, we have an out with this contract.
And so what happens is, this is a 3-year contract, and we mainly have made sure that the funding's there for the next 3 years. Like I said, Indiana Criminal Justice provides some of it. United Way also provides some of the funding. That's kind of the matching portion of it. We can get local businesses to help with that matching portion of it too. That's kind of usually what Youth First is. The only thing that we're 100% paying for, and it's coming out of the ESSER funds, is that 3rd one this year. And the reason why that changed and is not matching this year is because the ESSER money required it to be SEL, social emotional learning. And so almost every school in the area has gone to Youth First and said, we need more social workers. I believe Evansville asked for 10 additional ones. So they just were not able to get that kind of funding support. And so they've asked for that 3rd one for us to pick up 100% of the funding. And so mainly what we did was we budgeted that into our ESSER funds to make sure that we covered that for the 3 years of that, for this contract.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
The next agenda item this evening is a contract with the University of Evansville Supervised Clinical Education Agreement. What this is Rob, as you guys know, is our athletic trainer. And I believe last year she had a student from University of Evansville work with her, and they're actually working with some of her kids and stuff. And so this is just a contract saying that those kids can work with her and kind of do their internship underneath her, and we're aware of that. So I just ask that you approve this contract so that we can take care of that.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we continue the University of Evansville supervised clinical education agreement with Archmere.
Second.
I'll second.
So a motion by Mr. Collins, seconded by Mr. Oakley. Any other comments or questions?
The contract language in here was very dry.
It
It was more so than any other contract.
And there was a lot of language.
Yeah.
So did you use it to put yourself to sleep that night?
I did fall asleep.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next up this evening, we tabled this from or actually pulled it from last month's meeting. It's a letter from Mrs. Smith, our food service director, requesting for the Metropolitan School District to continue to be part of the USDA waiver that offers free breakfast and lunch to all students. The other part of this letter was dealing with the adult prices for our lunches. This evening, I do not want you to take up the adult prices. We are waiting from the Department of Education because of the free breakfast and free lunch. We thought we had that in this letter. We thought we had the prices correct, and the DOE came back and said, no, we're going to need to raise those higher. We've not heard from them of how much they need to be. So all I'm asking for this evening is that the board approve the request to continue the USDA waiver to offer free breakfast and free lunch. And this is for every student in our district for the entire 2021-2022 school year. And we really want this, I would hold off until August, but we want to make sure that we're notifying parents about this opportunity again this year. So and if you remember correctly, this came about because of COVID last year. And this also will give us a higher rate that we're going to be receiving back from the federal government towards our food service program. So that's another benefit to us as well.
So we'll entertain a motion to approve minus the adult lunch.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to continue the USDA waivers to offer free breakfast and lunch to all students.
Second.
I'll second that.
A motion by Mr. Oakley, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. Any comments or questions? The only thing I'll point out or speak to that we have several parents ask, well, how if it's free, how am I still paying for lunches? This only affects the first meal. If your kid goes back for seconds or additional
For all the card
Card
items,
items,
It has to be
yeah.
the whole meal.
it's mainly the approved USDA meal is
So
what
if
it
it's
is.
a la carte or something else, that does not count.
So if you get a bottle of water instead of milk, you have to pay for that bottle of water.
This way, no kid has to go through lunch without something to eat.
Correct.
And they don't have to worry about getting money and doing things like that. It's,
Anybody else have comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Then, Mr. President, I have an additional walk-on item for this evening as well, underneath new business, and this is dealing with a trailer that was purchased by the varsity football club, haul our football equipment for the coming season. Like I said, the varsity football club did purchase this, but the school board has to approve to accept that donation so that we can get it titled and insured for the upcoming football season. So I bring forward that for your consideration this evening.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the donation of the trailer for the football.
Second.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Colley to accept the trailer donation from the football club. Anybody have any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
We do not have any good news report this evening because we're not in school right now. So, but I will tell you that in addition, in your reports, you have the annual financial report. This is required for the board to look over. I believe it's posted in the newspaper next month. Is that right?
Between August 1st and the 15th.
August 1st and the 15th. So, so we wanted to bring that to the board this evening, just in case you have any questions or anything like that. We can get those addressed before we get it published. Yes, and we need Amy's signature.
Okay.
The other thing I will let you know is that we met this afternoon with the Mount Vernon Health Department, or Posey County Health Department, and also Mount Vernon School Corporation to discuss our protocols this year for COVID. The health department was very supportive of our stance on masks being optional. I think what we're going to begin working on is kind of a flow chart situation of where, if different levels are reached, then these are the precautions that we would put in place. As I stated, we're going to be putting together that press release and probably pushing that out next week. We'll also do some frequently asked question sheets as well of how are we going to handle close contact tracing, those kinds of things as well. But we did a press release last week on Friday, and then maybe not more than a half an hour after I did it was the CDC came out with their new guidelines, and so then I ended up being the star on Channel 14 that evening. So, but as I stated in that, we really feel like we need to listen to our community and what our parents are wanting. We want our kids and our staff to be safe, but at the same time, for our kids' sake, we want to make sure that they feel comfortable in the educational setting that they have. So we're being very realistic with the approach that we have to the COVID precautions this year. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the cause? We have some time yet, but we have the State School Board Association, ISBA conference in October. So we have a couple months yet. So we'll be wanting to, I don't know when we have to RSVP for that and
I didn't receive the email, so someone had to send it to me.
and get reservations for the hotel.
I haven't
Yeah,
got
I need all
anything
that
yet.
information. I don't have any.
That's something typically we all go to. We didn't have it last year. It's generally, we go up on a Sunday, come home on a Tuesday.
It's usually right around, Autumn Fest.
It's after that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
really?
moved it back.
They moved it back.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been in your newsletter, the dates.
So just be thinking, if it works, outstanding. If not, we understand, but if we can, we ought to try to go up.
It's a great bonding weekend, a lot of good sessions usually.
We already received the email?
No,
We
we
got the
just got,
notifications.
we just got the
Not
notification
the
that just said when it was. I
registration.
don't think I've seen anything come through as far as registration or hotel
Somebody can just
information.
remember
I
to.
think the only thing I've seen is
send
for
it
like
to me, I
the
can do it, but I don't get that.
session
Save it.
proposals and that sort of thing. Yeah, Greg's a big fan of the president's breakfast, 7 o'clock in the morning.
I'll let you have that.
I have it. I'm not going. No way. All right, anything else? Our next meeting is August 9th here. If we need it, we will probably need it, giving hires, that sort of thing for executive session. We'll board meeting at 6:30. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will let the board know in order to get all people in place for the start of the school year. Usually we go ahead and hire those individuals, and then the board, I'll email you, let you know who that person is, and then you'll approve them that Tuesday evening, or that Monday evening. But since Tuesday's our first day, we want to make sure we get everybody in place, ready for school. So, which right now, we're doing well.
That's a fluid situation.
You just did that on a recording. Your fault.
All right, I hear a motion, Greg.
Yep, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second, Motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mrs. Will. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I'll also put on your school board newsletter that Monday